Experts from the OPCW chemical weapons watchdog are expected to arrive in the Syrian town of Douma in the next few hours. The probe will look into the allegations of a chemical attack that emerged on April the 7th. Meanwhile, more doubts have been raised over this footage filmed by the White Helmets group in a local hospital. The video claims to show the aftermath of the chemical attack. But our sister channel, RT Arabic, visited that very hospital in Douma and talked with the doctors and the locals. They described what happened on the 7th of April, claiming they saw no toxic agents being used.
People from the White Helmets told us about the use of chemical weapons, but we saw no sign of that. If chemical weapons were used against those people, our medical staff would have also been affected.
People poured water over our heads, repeating that we had been attacked with chemical weapons. Somebody ran up from outside shouting about a chemical attack. Don't know who that was.
We heard an explosion, and somebody said it was a chemical weapon. We ran to where the noise came from and started pouring water over the people, but they seemed to be okay and then walked away without any help.
People got so confused. Somebody started pouring water over people's heads, saying there had been a chemical attack. I was at the spot with my wife and daughter, but none of us experienced any symptoms of chemical poisoning.
Video footage that was seen around the world at the start of the month, claiming to show the aftermath of an alleged chemical attack in Syria, is now being called into question. A team from our sister channel, RT Arabic, visited the town of Douma. Earlier, Rory Souchet discussed what they saw with Hugo Zhdanov.
What we've seen so far from this place wasn't much. Mostly it's been a video released by the White Helmets activist group. You're looking at it right now. It's shot in a hospital and it shows some truly heartbreaking pictures. The scenes of chaos, of panic, confused children being hosed down with water, everything pointing at a potential chemical attack. But our RT Arabic crew managed to talk to a boy who was featured in this video of the White Helmets, and he gave his account of events in that hospital. Have a listen.
We were outside and they told all of us to go into the hospital. I was immediately taken upstairs and they started pouring water on me.
Do you remember where it happened?
Here with the hose.
Where is it?
Here it is. They poured water on me. They put me here and then took me upstairs to my mother.
Where exactly upstairs?
The second floor. Upstairs, over there. The doctors started filming us here. They were pouring water and taking videos. Then my father came and found me. Someone had told him we were here, so he came and took me away.
I went upstairs and saw my wife and children there. I was very surprised and asked what had happened, why my son's eyes were red. I found out that it was water, but it was cold. He could have got sick. He was undressed. When I took my son, they at first told me that they still needed him, but I still took him away from there.
The boy is clearly in shock still. To have to go through something like this, to go through such terror at his age is unthinkable, really. We've reached out to the White Helmets requesting a statement or some reaction to what's being filmed in Douma right now, but we're still to hear back from them.
Igor, as I understand, there was other footage from the alleged scene of the attack, wasn't there?
Yes, indeed. There was another video released by another activist, and it is apparently from an apartment building where the actual chemical projectile, the alleged chemical projectile, landed. This is the initial video that we're showing you right now, and this is the projectile. We, our crew, again, managed to get inside this very building. So to the left, you can see our video, and to the right is the original one. And initially, how the media reacted to the first firstly released video, well, they saw it as rock-solid evidence of a chemical attack.
The chemical weapon that killed dozens of civilians here.
Canisters that the Assad regime has previously used in chemical attacks.
The Assad regime has used the same yellow gas canisters.
The NSC telling Fox News they have a high degree of confidence that it was used.
Apparently the projectile was still toxic, was still fuming with something toxic, and that's why they had to wear a mask to protect themselves. But we've spoken to a number of experts, and they've told us that a mere gas mask is basically not enough to protect oneself from a toxic substance.
If that were a nerve agent, whether he's got his face covered or not, it's going to go right through his skin. The only protection that he could have is if his whole body were in a chemical-controlled suit. If it were chlorine gas, that would protect him from some small leaking of the chlorine gas for a while, and it doesn't make any sense. I could see it going through a roof and never even breaking. It's a silly way, and even if it did break open, the dispersal of the chlorine might only kill the people in the room, but not even people outside the room. They'd had time to get out.
Now, an international chemical watchdog is, carrying out its investigation in Douma. Do we know what level, what stage they're at now in the investigation?
Well, the OPCW inspectors, the fact-finding mission, they are in Damascus, but they so far have not been able to enter Douma. It's not safe. UN security mission, they went to the city of Douma with the Syrian Army, and they came under small arms fire. So far, it's not safe enough. But this whole endeavor has somewhat been rendered, well, almost irrelevant, I should say, because the retaliation for the chemical attack, there's no confidence yet in the fact that it even happened in the first place, but the retaliation is already there. The US, the UK and France launched more than 100 missiles to strike targets they believe the Assad government are using to produce chemicals. Right now, the big intrigue is what the official investigation is to show whether or not the attack happened.
Some Western media outlets are now calling into question the allegations of a chemical attack. That's after British journalist Robert Fisk visited the hospital and spoke with the doctors there and found absolutely no evidence of the use of any chemical weapons. However, those who still have no such doubts are Washington and its allies. The US, Britain and France chose not to wait at all for the official investigation before launching air raids against Syria in the early hours of Saturday. And US State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert said Washington's decision not to wait was justified.
The OPCW is something that we back strongly, but it can also take quite a bit of time for the OPCW to gather its information and compile a report. So I would ask you, should the United States and her allies wait around for Bashar al-Assad to use more chemical substances on his people? Should we wait around for that formal investigation that could take months and months?
This is, actually scandalous that the U.S. has launched a strike based on insurgent-tied social media sources. Well, this is exactly what Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said at a briefing several days ago, where he didn't have solid intelligence on any chemical attack in Douma. What he did have were social media reports, people saying stuff on the internet. And who were those people? The same people that State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert's referring to. They're the Syrian White Helmets, which has been funded to the tune of at least $23 million by the State Department.